sick and tired of seeing our children die of asthma. We're sick and tired of seeing people with cancer because of coal ash ponds. We're sick and tired of seeing sea level rise. We will rise up. We will rise up, and we will do away with the death-dealing culture that gives us energy that comes from dinosaurs that are dead in the ground and coal that's interred as if in the grave. We need a life-giving energy, the energy that comes from the sun, the energy that comes from the wind. We're gonna rise up. Say rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up.
The South is on the front lines of climate change. Stronger hurricanes, epic floods, sea level rise. Southern communities are suffering, especially poor communities and communities of color.
The South is disproportionately impacted by poverty, disproportionately impacted by pollution and extractive, disproportionately impacted by climate change. And the need for us to build a movement across the South that pushes back not just against these threats, but that creates a vision for the future.
In the spring of 2018, Reverend Leo Woodbury and the New Alpha Community Development Corporation of Florence, South Carolina, joined forces with the forest protection organization Dogwood Alliance and with the Sierra Club's Ready for 100 campaign. Together, they launched the Justice First Tour across the South.
And we were looking at three basic issues. One was developing an environmental Bill of Rights. The second was promoting renewable energy, 100% renewable energy in our cities and counties. And the third was defending our forests, making sure that our forests and our wetlands are intact.
The Justice First Tour visited 25 cities in 12 states, meeting with hundreds of community members and local activists, and hearing about their struggles for justice in all its forms.
It was a really wonderful effort between many different organizations that normally don't talk to each other. So we had representatives from the LGBTQ community, we had racial justice folks, of course we had folks working on environmental justice issues, women's rights issues. So it was really a powerful coalition that we built. So Hampton Roads is the second most vulnerable area to sea level rise, right after New Orleans in terms of vulnerability. And so there are communities in Norfolk especially that are really feeling a lot of the impacts of sea level rise.
The Justice First Tour engaged communities in Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, and Tennessee.
Going back to the lower Ninth Ward in New Orleans, Louisiana, and seeing after 13 years that the recovery effort was still underway, but there were these really dedicated people who were still repairing homes, painting homes, and helping people to get back into their homes.
Every tour stop made me joyful. For the Justice First project, I wanted to grow, have major goals, and set those goals and go over them goals.
So the Justice First future looks really good. After doing the tour and visiting 12 southern states and visiting 25 cities, we recently convened organizers from across the South, and we worked on putting together a theory for change, a strategic plan, as well as choosing activities that would take place in 2019 and 2020.
The Justice First movement is taking its message to environmental justice communities, to the media, and to state houses across the South. And on what would have been Martin Luther King's 90th birthday, January 15th, 2019, Justice First activists from across the South met with lawmakers and the media in Washington, D.C.
But we're at a fork in the road where we can move away from extractive industries like coal and oil and widespread logging that removes our resources and gives nothing back but death and destruction, disease and a warming planet. We have an opportunity right now to turn things around, to create renewable energy, to create jobs, to revitalize our neighborhoods. And we're here to say that we can't wait any longer.
So if we don't win on environmental justice, then we cannot win on climate change, because we only have one planet. And this is our opportunity, and that's why a Justice First campaign is so important. Because not only does it talk about the impacts, but it also talks about the economic opportunities that exist inside of our community.
Places like Little Rock, Arkansas, Columbia, South Carolina, all over the country, people are wanting to be ambitious about getting to 100% clean energy, and also be ambitious about making sure that there's a just transition for workers, a just transition for communities.
As a newly appointed member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, and thanks be to God, I am so excited about that. I am dedicated to championing clean energy policy and more in order to generate greater opportunity for all. But know this, the door is always open to you all, and let's get this done. Not just for ourselves, but for our children.
Climate change is the civil rights issue of our time. We must build a clean energy future that benefits all Americans, with lower energy bills, healthier air and water, and good green jobs in every community.
This is the promise of our nation. This is the pledge that we have made since we have been little children. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And so if you stand for justice, if you stand for righteousness, if you stand for progress, if you stand for renewable energy, if you stand for saving our forests, if you stand for